Yeah, and it's like once you get the blue bubble, it's like, Johnny, you're better than everybody with the green bubble.
Yeah,
you know, like, you're better than that. You have standards. You have standards. You're a human being. You're not an animal. And to me, that's crazy. And I think this is where Apple is genius with marketing, is that they made it like a status symbol.
Welcome to the Not Null Podcast. I'm just an AI voice. But here are your real hosts, Kevin Doyle, Bobby Davis, Paul Bratslavsky, and Sarah Kimmel.
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of the Not Null Podcast, the tech podcast where we discuss everything from AI to VR and robots to flying cars. I'm Kevin Doyle, and as usual, this week I'm joined by Bobby Davis, Paul Bratslavsky, and Sarah Kimmel. Coming up in this week's episode, we've moved into the AI hardware stage with the Humane Ai Pin. Samsung has some new AI features for the next Galaxy phone, including some real-time voice translation. And blue chat bubbles for everybody, even Android users. And then we'll finish up with our null, not null recommendation section, where we recommend that you avoid a product or service. Okay, before we jump in to our topics this week, I wanted to ask you guys a question. I wanted to get your thoughts on QR codes. Love or hate? And the reason I'm asking this, because a couple of stories kind of caught my eye recently. This one around a massive phishing campaign exploiting QR codes, stealing Microsoft credentials. And this one, which was earlier in the year, but has been an issue for a while, where people are basically replacing the QR code stickers on parking meters, and people go to pay for parking, and they're kind of getting scammed. You're sending your money to somebody else. So QR codes, good or bad? Who anybody love or hate them? Have an opinion of them?
I thought they were going to be a lot more prevalent than they are. Like when they first kind of came out, I thought like all of our business cards would have QR codes on them. And like, I thought they'd kind of be a big thing. But yeah, the most place I see them are like restaurants, when you got to like do that for your menu that COVID kind of exploded. But this is interesting that, you know, people can just really stick a sticker over it and steal your information. That's super easy. So that's going to give me a little pause to be scanning QR codes in the future for sure.
Yeah.
To me, I think it's a convenient way. Like if, you know, you want to send someone to a website or somewhere, you just create a QR code. I mean, I do it on my dating profile. I just have a QR code, just, you know, give all my details. Keep it simple. You know, like
that's why you're getting the people you're getting on there, Paul. That's the problem.
I have a question. I'm going to ask the boomer question here. I'm always using an app to do this. So I find it like really hard to do. Is it like built into an iPhone's? You just point the camera at it?
Is it built into all of them now, right?
It's built into my Samsung camera.
Yeah, really? I think you just point your camera at them and it comes up, it pops up. Yeah.
All right, let's scan this scammy one on the show here.
We don't have one to show, I don't think. Do we have one here? There's one here. Like, I don't know if this is an actual QR code. I'm guessing it probably is. But you know, it's built in. And that's why it's convenient, because it is built in. So I guess the only issue is, for me, it's like, it has to be from a trusted source. If it's from a trusted source, it's okay. If it's not, it's bad. Like if you're at somebody's house, because I've seen this before where you can like share a Wi-Fi password, right, from a QR code. It's a great way to do that if you're at a person's house you trust. If you're in a restaurant and you're kind of doing it, I'm going to think twice about doing that now. And it's kind of funny because a guy that I used to work with, a good friend of mine, we've always gone back and forth on QR codes. I've always loved them. He's always hated them. I always wanted to put more in Coder Foundry stuff. He wanted to use them. Never. He hated So I've always had this kind of back and forth.
Is that person's name Bobby?
No. Bobby didn't seem to care. No, it was Hashim. Bobby didn't seem to care, but Hashim was always like, no, we're never doing anything with QR codes. They're stupid. QR codes are stupid. And I'm like, no, I love them. Look, you just scan the thing and it just works. Like, it's amazing. And they've kind of had a boom here kind of recently, right, because of COVID. But I don't think most people who use them like realize there's a security concern with them.
Yeah, I really didn't even think about that until you brought that up. I'm like, oh yeah, for sure. Like, luckily the parking in Salt Lake City is an app that you download and like you type in a number, you know, but I could see how easy that would be to like rely on QR codes and how easy it would be to just scam everybody by replacing all of them.
Yes. So that's what happens. Like somebody will replace it. And if it's your first time there and you don't happen to have the app, what happens a lot of times on the QR code is it'll take you to either a website or it takes you to the app to download it, right? That's generally what they do with the parking things.
Right.
And I've seen some where they've actually just spoofed the website.
Sure.
So they've made a copy of the website, and instead of sending your credit card details to the website, you're sending it to some third party who says, "Congratulations, you've paid for parking." You haven't. You've just given them your credit card details.
So your car gets stolen, your card gets stolen, and your car gets towed.
Right.
Exactly. It's lose-lose. Yeah. You genuinely haven't paid for parking. You've just given somebody else $10 and your credit card details.
Well, I'm going to admit that I just tried this out on my phone, and I'm now like, I'm enlightened now. I've did it. I can like just use the camera app. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
Full
he doesn't have to
disclosure.
download a QR scanner anymore.
With ads popping up, I gotta.
Well, it used
My
to be
life
the
has
problem.
changed.
Yeah. That used to be the problem. That's why they did suck originally, because you didn't have to have an app for them. And it was like, well, no one's going to download an app to read a QR code. That's pointless. Just give me the website.
Bobby had one on his phone up until an hour ago.
I just figured out the coolest thing you could do is, you know how people always take your photo everywhere? So what you do is you get a t-shirt that has a QR code. So every time they want to take your photo, it's just the QR code pops up and takes it to some random website. Like,
well, it rickrolls you, right? There are.
Yeah, that's clever. Oh, that's it. There you go. I'm doing it right now. Rickroll t-shirt. It's happening. We got a not null Rickroll t-shirt.
These already exist, unfortunately.
I know. That's
Trust me, I thought about doing this because I was just like, no, they
Right.
already exist. Somebody's already done it. I'm
do.
like, of course they thought about this already.
Yeah. I was responding recently to a comment to someone because they were like really rude somewhere, and I was like, all right, yeah. It's like, I'm like, you know what? You're looking for this information. I'm sorry that this like blog whatever thing didn't have it here, but here's the link that you could follow that has exactly what you're looking for, and it's Rickroll.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nice.
And I just want them to like flip out. I could imagine them just like smashing their computer at home, like, what the hell is this? And then like I want to like, if they respond back with like, I'm sorry, I sent you the wrong link, and just do it again.
Do it again.
Do it again.
Oh yeah, here's the right one.
That's
Yeah,
the
exactly.
classic. It's like you got.
Oh, I'm sorry, I sent you the wrong one. Yeah, here you go. That's great. I love it.
Paul's just spreading joy.
Yes, I love that song. It's my favorite. So our CEO of our company that I work for kind of looks like that guy. So I'm secretly like looking to do like a deep fake where it's our CEO in that song. But I don't know if it's gonna be funny or not funny.
I'll get you
Get
fired.
you
Yeah.
fired.
Yeah. So I'm thinking like I'm willing to
find
take
out
the
a couple
chance.
days
I just gotta line up
afterwards.
few things in line. Yeah. Everybody's like, yeah, do it. But I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, everyone's gonna egg you on. Yeah, it's the funniest thing ever, or you lose your job over it.
Until
Yeah,
the
we got to
next
egg
day.
you on to say, boss, I told him not to do that. We had several
Exactly.
conversations.
So looks like we've moved into the age of AI hardware now, from AI software with the Humane AI Pin. So this is a tiny little piece of hardware. It was originally demoed at a TED talk last year, or earlier this year, sorry. And I remember seeing it and being like, wow, okay, that's interesting. So it's going to be pre-order start November 16th, ships early 2024. So these aren't out in the market yet. So basically what this is, it's a little device that sits on your jacket or on your shirt. It's magnetic basically. So it's a magnet on the front and on the back, and that's how it attaches to a piece of material, right? So this thing has a Snapdragon processor, it has GPS, it has a camera, it has a projector, it has a microphone, a speaker, it has all this like technology, it has a touch pad on it. What it doesn't have is a screen. So this is basically, and it has cell service, by the way, that requires T-Mobile. This is basically a phone without a screen, is what this is. It's all the technology that's in a phone in a small compact thing with no screen attached to it, right? That clips to your kind of like your shirt and has this little projector that you can project onto your hand, some information. But its primary like communication method isn't touch, it is voice. So you speak to it. And it is AI powered in the sense that it is backed by, it's ChatGPT basically. It's ChatGPT permanently attached to you, where you basically click a button and say, ask it whatever you want, just like you can on the phones right now, right? If you have the OpenAI app on your phone, you can talk to it. It's very impressive. So it's a similar kind of thing, but a piece of hardware. It's going to be $700 plus $24 a month. So, Sarah, are you ready to ditch your screen and go all in on voice?
No. But I don't know if maybe in the future I would be willing, just based on the fact that I already have like Google Assistant like all over my home, and I rarely talk to it. I tell it to set a timer for me. It's like pretty much the most thing that I tell it to do. And so changing my whole way of life is really what's going to be required in order to like get the most out of that. Otherwise I would use the voice options that I already have. The other thing that concerns me, and we've talked about this a lot, is ChatGPT lies to you. So how am I going to verify the information that I'm getting from this device if that's all I've got?
You definitely cannot. You can't. Let's say if it gave you directions somewhere, there's no way to validate that those directions that it's given you are true, because you can't see a picture of a map to say, well, that's not where I wanted to go.
I only see one use case for it. Like if you're a pirate, you could create a parrot, which is that device, and then you put a little pirate hat on it, and you just talk to it as if it's like your pirate companion. That's the only way it makes sense, because like, you know what this looks like? It looks like the size of a what Apple Watch. Say that my Apple Watch can't do that. Like what? Like my Apple Watch could probably do the same thing already. It's like, so I feel like it's kind of cool, but is there really a need for it? Like to me, like for $700, it's like I'm either gonna spend extra $300 to buy an iPhone, or I'm just gonna get an Apple Watch, which to me, like the only thing between this and Apple Watch, this thing sucks, and Apple Watch has all these other apps, including this one. I think I could be wrong, but it's a cool idea, especially if people thinking of just like, hey, get rid of the screen and just use voice only. But it's like a portable Alexa. It's like I don't. It's like I mean, look how like they try to make everybody look happy, and they're like, you can tell like she's faking that smile. She's like, like you really, this is what how much you pay me $500 to take this photo? All right, look at this. What does it do again? It just no. And then every time she's like looking at her phone, she's like, oh, let me check my. Like, I think this is like in the 1990s when beepers were cool. Like this would be cool. Like it's like on top of your beeper. Yeah, you know what I mean?
It feels like a solution looking for a problem, doesn't it?
Right, yeah. Exactly. It's like,
here's my burning question, the one that I really want to know, that I think all of our listeners want to know. Does this come with the John Luke Picard red jumpsuit? Does it come like that, so I can go number one?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like that's basically a cool thing for a Star Trek convention. You know what I mean? I love Star Trek, by the way. If you're, that's a good use case.
Here's the thing I'm wondering: does it have Bluetooth? Can you put AirPods
yes.
on it?
I watched the video. It said yes, that it would connect via Bluetooth.
Is it waterproof?
No,
but why would you need
you
Bluetooth,
can't take a bath with it, Paul.
So it's a portable speaker, and so if it was going to talk to me, I would want it in my ear. The thing that drives me
apparently it has a bubble. They're calling it a bubble that is a personal. Yeah, apparently only you can hear it. That's what they've said. Apparently only you can hear it. It's it's not going to be
unless you turn it up. Like there's something that you can turn it up. Like, cause there was a demo where somebody comes up to him and speaks Spanish, and he gets the translation, and then he says something back, and it translates what he said into Spanish and says it back to the person.
To me, that's the killer app that I would actually pay for. Like,
still,
I think,
you all remember AT&T commercials back in like the 90s, like it's like the future is here, or like they show like all these cool devices that never happened. I think this is it. This is like one of those things that like it's just not going to pick up. No one's going to use it, because I feel like what problem is it solving that's already not solved by your iPhone or your Apple Watch? So like I hate or love Apple. What I like about Apple is that each device is designed to like kind of make the other one obsolete. Like, for instance, if you have a laptop and you're like, I don't know if I really need a laptop, like iPad makes perfect sense for you. If you have an iPad and you're like, you know what, I need something smaller, but I want to make phone calls. So like the iPhone, and then it's like, like I have an iPhone, but I don't really need it. So you have like the Apple Watch. This thing just doesn't like fit in any, like who's this for? Unless it's to play pranks, like you buy like a Chucky doll and you put it in there and you program it to like scare the, I don't know. I don't know what the use
case.
It's
a $700 prank. That's expensive.
Yeah, $700 prank.
Yeah, I agree. It's a product looking for a market that I don't think exists. It's kind of weird. Looking at the pictures too, by the way, they're not very good. They're actually terrible. These pictures are taken in full daylight. Look, it's like they're pretty bad. These ones that are in low light, it's clearly a terrible camera in it.
Yeah, it's not a good camera.
The photos look bad. So the use for photo doesn't seem very good. They haven't released video specs on it yet, but apparently it can do video at the same time. I'm guessing it's going to do short clips of video is my guess.
How do you
it's
know
going to be limited
good?
to 60 seconds because there's not much memory in it.
If there's no screen, like how do you maybe you had like food on your face and you didn't know, like, and you recorded it's like, how do you know? You don't know anything.
You don't know. I'm assuming there's an app for it that you have with your phone.
This is right. And if you said that, it's like
your phone. Yeah.
If it has a this is what I'm going to say. If this thing definitely has an app that is complementary to this is the biggest garbage idea I've ever seen. Like the fact,
maybe it doesn't. Maybe it goes to the cloud or something. But you've got to still pull it down from the cloud.
Yeah, the video showed a website that you log into basically.
So that's dumb.
Because
then if you're already using your iPhone, it's like what's the point?
But you're right. The cameras can never be as good as what's on a flagship smartphone now, just because of the space or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. The reason I want this is because anytime you go to a store, at least in North Carolina, for some reason, someone's in a Walmart and they figure they want to have an argument with their wife on a speakerphone while you're trying to buy, a piece of electronics. And you're like, bro, can you go outside? I mean, like, what? Why are you yelling at her in here? And why is it on speaker?
Why does everybody talk like this on their phones?
I don't understand why you do that.
Talk on the phone. Why do you talk to people like this?
And so, this thing should be a requirement to have headset with it. Like, that's the last thing you want is...
Well, this is the bubble, though. You got to remember the bubble.
I don't know, man. We'll see. Maybe the bubble works. I mean, I have seen directional speakers that are really good, but I've never seen them that small, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
If it's cool.
The other cool thing in the demo, he holds up a book, and I don't know how well this is actually going to work in real life, but he holds up a book and is like, how much is this online? And it tells him how much it is online.
But what does that mean?
That's kind of cool, but
it is. But what does online mean, though? Is that the Amazon price? Is that you can purchase that book at 100 different stores? Does it give you the cheapest one? Because the option that he showed you,
just make up a price and tell you. To you.
Because we've definitely seen that. Right, we've seen that it doesn't get the info right because it's not pulling
totally
from the internet.
$12.
Essentially, exactly, it's $12. Yeah, and you can actually. Here's the other thing too. In his demo, he says buy the book.
Right.
Whoa, hold on 1 second. Buy it from where?
Yeah.
How do I get
much?
it? How long is it going to take? What? There's so many more questions around that than there are answers in it. It's insane. It doesn't make. While it seems like if that's a good idea on face value, I just can't see the logistics of that actually working out unless you could somehow set preferences or something. You're like, always buy my stuff from Amazon. Always make sure that it's it's free Prime or whatever it is. I guess there's some presets you can do, but we know anybody that's used Amazon buying through Alexa or something, that doesn't even work. And that's literally tied into their system. It'll often get it wrong. You'll order the wrong thing. If you just tell it to buy toilet paper, it'll buy something, you get paper towels or something. It's it doesn't work well.
And how well does it work with your voice? Do you have to will it pick up somebody else's? What is it recording? What is it doing? It's just and it is anytime something that's always on that we're in here, it's kind of weird for me. How do you know when it's not listening? How do you shut it down? How do you turn it off? How is it ever off? And it's
I think the phones are always listening now.
I know that, but it's
It does say that it has a privacy light, a trust light, I think is what it called it, or something like that, where if the light is on, it's listening and you manually turn it on and off. But, sure.
It's always listening. It just makes the light so you feel good about yourself.
I do think, and honestly, the more and more I think about this, and I don't think these are the guys to roll it out, but I think the form factor, they are onto something. Get the phone without a screen is a good idea in general, especially if you pair that with something like a pair of glasses.
I had that in 1980s.
the Virtue or something like that. That would be pretty interesting. So that way you don't have this device that you have to hold in your hand all the time.
I agree. I think that's kind of interesting, but I'm not sure this is the correct alternative form factor. And I'll tell you why.
It's a watch is what it should be.
Yeah, Apple
exactly.
Watch. It already exists.
Because here's the thing. Right. What do you do when you're not, so you'll see in some of the demos too, like the people wearing t-shirts. What do you do when you're wearing a t-shirt? This thing isn't particularly light. So it's going to like sag down on the side of your shirt.
I'm a girl.
Like,
I'm going to be showing the goods.
Right, exactly. Because you've got your AI pin on. Oh, it's fine. I'm just wearing an AI pin.
Right.
Like, it just seems weird. Like, I don't think the form factor's right.
Bend over and pick that up for me? Thanks.
I mean,
I think watch or glasses is better for this kind of device, I think.
100%. I think it's silly.
But real-time translation is, and we'll probably talk about this in a minute, is the killer app that would make me buy something. Even though it's not like I interact with anybody that doesn't speak English on a daily basis. I just think it's cool. I'd have to go find some people. Hey, is there any French people in Cartersville? I want to talk to you. Why? Just to see.
just for fun.
The thing for me, if like the differentiation is like the form factor, like but the feature is software, then it's stupid. Like because like if it's just the feature is the software, then your iPhone could run it, your Apple Watch could run it, whatever could run it. So to just create some form factor, just to kind of share something that could work on anything else, like it's silly. Like I mean, I could probably get a little Adreno, load some software on it and have the same capabilities for like $100. You know what I mean? And so like to me, but
it wouldn't look like a communicator from Star Trek.
Right.
But it doesn't even, I mean, if they even made it look like Star Trek themed, that would be cool. But it just looks like a little, like Apple Watch that should be on your wrist.
Probably will. They'll make the little Federation sign in a second.
Yeah.
Here's what else I'll tell you about this device, and this may taint your view of it too. So it was conceived in 2018. Okay. It was clearly in 2018 not called the AI Pin. Because in 2018, we did not have the same kind of AI we had today. We've been with the AI that we have today, this generative AI, for about a year. So this tells me this product pivoted big time.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because it sucked to begin with. That's why they're like, listen, we have to figure it out something.
I agree. When it wasn't an AI pin and it didn't have GPT attached to it, and maybe it was just, I don't know, voice
without
a simple phone. Like, because there's Techless, which is like a very simple telephone, that you can buy. So maybe it was going down that path for telephone addiction and things like that.
I think so.
I always thought, if you watched iRobot, where you had the earpiece that talked, I always thought that was a cool invitation of a futuristic technology, even though that kind of exists now. I mean, but like,
yeah, I mean, all good points, because honestly, like there's nothing stopping Apple to have you have these functionality through your iPods, whatever the hell the headphones are called.
Exactly.
Like already, it's like there's no point of having
like your AirPods or something. Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if it's just me. Every time I see that thing, it just makes me think like ankle bracelet. Like if you're like on parole, you're like, it's like, look at him. He's like, man, I got to be back by 5. I got this thing. It's like, listen, I can't finish this sushi right now because I got to go. And he's like, yeah, I understand. I mean, you're under house arrest. I mean, it's like, it's seriously, it's just like they took an ankle bracelet and just let's put it more visibly. Slap it on your chest.
My final thought is that the device is higher on your chest. So far as it recording what you're doing is better than a watch. A watch you'd have to hold up like this. Your iPhone you have to hold up like this. So that's part of it's cool. But obviously, if the camera's on a pair of glasses, it's way better than it chest height.
The issue I have with any of this stuff, it's like, what stops this guy forgetting he has it on, going to the bathroom? You know what I mean? Or what stops him from right? Exactly. Or like or. Like there was some dude.
He live streams
Ace Ventura. We've seen that.
Yeah, there's a guy that created like a iPhone app where he could just randomly scan just look around with his phone and it'll automatically like pick up chicks in the vicinity and then find their like Facebook profiles so he could like creep on them. You know what I mean? And so there's got this creepy factor that it's always recording, and it's like. So like the thing you were saying with the iPhone, like you need to like this, you need to like it, you kind of have to show your intent. With this thing, it's like police have their recorders, like so you either have to be always paranoid or just like I think it's I like the idea, but they could have been implemented much better. If I were them, I would completely give up on this device and just focus on the software aspect of it and just put it in the like app store, like what have you. But I think they already created the device and they wanted to make some money back. I'm just guessing, and they were like, "What can we do?" We already came up with this.
Let me poll the group. Let me ask you guys a question, and I'll give you a use case for this thing. Tell me if you think this is useful or not. So, like, let's say that you go to a party or whatever, and this thing does give you intelligence or feedback on all the people at the party, so you can be a better small talker or whatever. Is that like super creepy, or if you're like at a fundraising event, and you're a politician and whatever, and you're like, and the earpiece says, "This is Frank. He gave you, $6,000 last week. Make sure you support the oil thing," or whatever it is. I mean, is that too creepy, or is that like a use case where we could see where we get intelligence about the people we're talking to, or our world around us?
But that's like the form factor would be glasses,
Agreed.
Yeah. iPods, 100%. Like not a brick that looks like an ankle bracelet. Like,
yeah, I agree. The idea is great. The idea of that, yes, is definitely a use case. But I don't think this is the form factor to do that in. I agree. It's either something that's directly in your ear, or for me, it would be more visual. It'd definitely be glasses.
Yeah, I mean,
like an overlay of a person that says, "This is Bob, and this is what he does." Like, I want to see it, not really hear it. I guess in that case.
Yeah, rich people already have that. They just have a person there that like says that to them. So, I mean, I really don't see any difference between like it getting digitally to your brain as opposed to like my assistant saying, "Don't forget to ask about this." Yeah.
Well, I can tell you, I was at a restaurant yesterday, and this guy walked up to me and said, "Hey, Bobby, how you doing?" And I looked at him, and I was like, "Great. How you doing, man?" And I'm trying to ask.
How you doing?
20 questions to see who he is. Is he from Coder Foundry? Did I know him from high school? Did I go to him with church? I don't know who this person is, but he knows me, and it's just weird. And I would love to have the earpiece saying, "This is Frank. You went to high school with him."
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
he's crazy. Get out of the conversation.
I don't think that's creepy because really it's just going to have the information that you're putting out online, Right. So if I don't want that information about me out there, then I just don't put that information online. So
agreed.
Like I don't find that creepy at all.
Let's talk about some plans that Samsung has for their next phone. So they have something called the catchy name. Samsung took a leaf out of Microsoft's book, I think, in this naming world right here. The AI Live Translate Call. Great name, Samsung. Well done. If you need to hire some people, we're available. We could come up with 60 names right now that are probably better than that one. But there you go. The AI Live Translate Call feature. So
wait, what does it do again?
Well, names on the tin. It definitely it is very descriptive. So here's the cool thing about this. This feature is going to be built into the native phone app, which I think is great. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that I often have an issue with is like you have these great ideas and they're always like third party kind of like it's this extra feature that you've got to load or do something with or go through this hoops to get it to do the thing. But this is going to be native in the phone app, which I think is great. And it is going to do audio and text translations that will appear in real time as you speak. And these will be on-device translations, which is great from a security perspective too. So they're saying this is early next year. So that looks like it's going to be S24 devices because they're going to come out around the same time. So looks like S24 in the Galaxy phone devices is going to have this AI Live Translate Call option. So, Bobby, this is exactly what you were talking about as like your killer feature. But is it a big enough feature for you to make a choice around buying a phone? And is it a big enough feature to make you want to upgrade to an S24?
I would buy an S24 because of this. Yep. Now, the thing I want to see is how does it work? I'd like to see an actual demo. And then how hard is it to use? What I would like to have my Galaxy earbuds in. And when someone talks to me, it tells me that in English when I'm talking to, someone in North Carolina. It's very easy. I made a joke about someone French, but there's a lot of Spanish that live in and work in North Carolina. So it's very easy to come across someone and you're like, "Hey, how you doing?" And try to have this awkward Spanglish conversation that no one knows what they're saying. And you just, and so I think this is a great thing that I would like to see how it worked. I do think that what I want, here's the killer app that I want. I want it in glass. I want to see the closed caption like you would on Netflix or whatever. And as they're talking to me, I can see it in real time and we can have an actual face-to-face conversation where I don't have to look at my phone and go, okay, what'd you say? Yes, I'll take that. Number one.
Yes. Yes. Well, this is saying that it's audio. This is saying that it's audio translation. So
yeah, which is if it works in your ear, that'd be great. You know, I don't want to see it in people holding the phone up like this, yelling at the Walmart person that's trying to check them out.
Right.
But, you know, I do want it to be in my ear. I do think it's great. I mean, like, you know, if you have a contractor or someone that doesn't speak English, we had contractors at our house that remodeled the upstairs. I would love to have talked to those guys more. We always had the guy that was the project manager did the translation of like, you know, what's going on with our bathroom. But I do think this is a fantastic thing that would, and then it's on device, which is even better because, you know, if you had to go to the internet and come back through ChatGPT, it would be like an 8-second delay. I mean, if you ever try to use that, so it sucked.
Have you seen?
So I like it.
I forget the. I think it's Louis C.K. He says, "Give it a minute to come back from space. It's going to space. Give it a minute."
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah,
he's not wrong.
Right.
I think it's a brilliant idea, like, because I remember being in a situation where someone's speaking a different language, and it was funny because I actually knew that language, and they were talking mad crap. So now it's like you could listen and be like, "Hey, listen, I know what you're saying. You know, I don't eat pizza all the time with ice cream. I eat it some of the time," and then answer to them. And also, like, when I used to be married, my ex-wife, like, she was very sweet, but she couldn't argue effectively in English. So she had to yell at me in Spanish. And so it would have been helpful if I had this app. Like, I probably would have had a better answer. And I think the killer feature would be, it's like, when someone like yells at you and goes crazy, it like translated in like a much calmer like way.
Yeah.
It's more
that's
like,
nice. Yeah.
Or the opposite. Like, if you can't stand up for yourself, you just say something like, "Oh, you know," and it's like, "Yo, what's the?" It's just like, like gives them the smackdown. Yeah, I think good idea.
Yeah. So the AI says, "Do you want me to translate that for you?" Yes. Angry? Yes.
Angry?
Yeah, angry. Really, really angry. And like, if you can you have a hand that comes out of the? No, I'm just kidding. Like,
for me, there's a couple of like key areas that make or break this. I think one, how real time is real time,
right?
And secondly, does it auto detect? So if somebody's speaking Spanish to me, does it know they're speaking Spanish and auto detect it,
so.
Or do I have to tell it?
All AIs do that for text to speech anyway. They know what the language is
right.
coming
I would
in.
hope exactly. I would hope that is the case. You don't have to tell it which language you want to translate from to. And again, how real time is real time? Because I'm stood there, like you said, if you're waiting for 10 seconds or even 5 seconds, it's way too long. That conversation would be just it'd be horrible. Yeah.
But if you're in a foreign country and it does improve it versus you have no idea what they're saying,
Yeah, but you can do that right now with like Google Translate on your phone.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like, because this is going to be for telephone conversations, right?
Yeah.
Too. This is a call feature. So it's like, imagine being on the other end of the call and then the person just being like, "Hold on, I've said something. I got to wait like 10 seconds for them to like answer because it's translating." It's like, "Are you there? Hello? It's going to be kind of weird because they don't necessarily know that you're getting it.
I would imagine it being on device would be really fast.
Yeah.
And I would imagine you can set it up with maybe some language models that you're more likely to run into, and that would make it faster. So you don't have to load all 88 languages. You could say, "I'm only going to do Spanish to English and make it more lightweight."
Is it one way or two way? So this is the other question I have. It's two way. So the person calling me, okay, I have an S24. Let's say that it's going to be on an S24. That's an assumption, but let's say that it is. I have an S24. And I have this feature on, and they're speaking to me in Spanish, and I'm speaking in English. Are they hearing back Spanish then, and I'm hearing English from them?
Yeah, I would imagine.
I would hope so.
So
yeah.
So, are they even aware of the fact that they're not actually talking to me?
I think you should tell them ahead of time.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Do I? Do I? How does that come across?
I don't think so. I think you should be able to use this app in reverse. Like, someone English speaking calls you, just don't want to talk to them. You just speak in English and it just says stuff to them like in like Spanish. No
comprende. Oh, so when you get pulled over by the cop, you say no español.
Yeah, no
English,
English. Yeah.
Talk to my phone.
Yeah, my phone. Does that mean my phone gets the ticket, or?
That's when you get your ankle monitor AI pin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you need this app on your ankle monitor for sure.
Yeah, I wonder how much the person on the other end is given or understands that they're going through an AI generated thing. They're actually hearing an AI generated voice back to them. And will it sound like me? I don't know.
Does it do voice? I thought it only did text. I thought it was only going to do
text. No, it does
text.
voice too.
Okay.
It does voice.
Great.
So
that's awesome.
It'd be great.
Yeah, however it works. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
imagine
we don't know.
Like
we got to
10
see
seconds of response. Then every conversation will start. You have 5 seconds to give me your answer.
I love the idea. I just don't know how it gets implemented.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. I think the real-time translation is going to be really, really awesome. There's one cool thing that, like, I was talking to someone, like, blew my mind that I, like, just, you don't think about it because we take English speaking or any language, like, for granted. But he said it's like, it's one way to kind of, like, gatekeep against, like, knowledge sharing. Because imagine if, like, someone doesn't speak English and let's say there's, like, a web dev resource in English or what have you. And if this is, let's imagine, before translation, it's like they would never be able to acquire that knowledge if they didn't speak the language, or vice versa. And I think it's kind of cool to open up and make it more of like everybody's able to speak to each other. And I kind of like that aspect of it, that you could basically chat with anybody.
Well, the technology would be great for tech support too. Like if somebody calls in a tech support that doesn't, the support speaks English or whatever.
Blue chat bubbles for everybody, even Android users. Well, some Android users, specifically only those Android users that have the Nothing Phone 2. This Friday, which would have been last Friday for you listening to this, the Nothing Phone 2 is getting an app called the Nothing Chat app. And this brand new app on Nothing Phone 2 will ensure that messages between an iPhone and this particular phone on that app will be blue bubbles, not the green bubbles that Android users are used to or they're not used to. I've been told.
I'm like, we don't care if they're blue or green.
Right. Have been told that iPhone users see when they speak to them in the Messages app on an iPhone. So this is through a third-party system called Sunbird. Sunbird have been around for a minute. And they've actually been having this. They've had this service for a minute. You've actually been able to have this. But I guess for the next month or 2 months, they've said they're going to exclusively work with the Nothing Phone 2. So they're not accepting any new signups from anybody else. They're only working through this app in Nothing Phone 2. So if you want to do this going forward, you've got to have a Nothing Phone 2, at least for now, I guess, if you're an Android user. It's going to be available in North America and Europe starting Friday, November 17th. So that is, as I said, last Friday, for you guys listening to this on Monday, or whenever you listen to it next week. So how this works. This is such a hack. It's insane how hacky this is. So this takes your Apple ID, which you have to have. You have to have an Apple ID. So you've got to have signed up for one already if you don't already have one. You basically give them that Apple ID. They take that Apple ID. You sign in technically to their service. And all it does is it pushes you into what they've said is a Mac Mini server farm. They've said this is how this works. Think of a bunch of Mac Minis in a giant room overheating, because that's what's going to happen here. There's a bunch of them in a room, and this takes that, and that's what gets you into the Apple ecosystem. That's what gives you the blue bubble. It's basically taking your message, it's translating it through a Mac Mini, pushing it into the Apple service, and away you go. You've now got a blue bubble on an Apple phone. So, Paul, firstly, do you care about this? Secondly, I think Apple's going to care about this.
Apple's not going to. First of all, Apple is so elitist that anytime I get a green bubble on my phone, I almost don't want to talk to that person. And it's not that I don't want to, but that's how Apple makes me feel. Apple's like, no, they're not what you're used to. They're not part of the group, and that's messed up.
They're not one of you.
And to me, right? And to me, that's like so messed up that Apple trained everybody to a point that there's got to be a third-party company that's doing Mac Mini farm, that basically like a server farm that's gonna. You know what? If I feel like if anybody complains, this is my hot take. If anybody calls you and says, listen, I can't like talk to you because you have a green bubble, you should be able to slap him. Like you should be able to slap him like and be like, shut up. You know what? Because this is so crazy. Like that's just so silly that you're so upset that you're going to be judged so hard that you need to have a service that basically is like, oh, I'm just gonna. That's all it does is the blue mark. That's so ridiculous. Pretty much. Does it have a cost with it? Please don't tell me there's a cost.
No, I don't think there is. They haven't mentioned there being like a monthly service cost for it. No. Well, the cost is you've got to buy a Nothing phone too. I mean,
and also what's messed up here? This is again on Apple and how elitist they are. What's the difference? It's green versus blue. Like they could just make all bubbles blue, but they're choosing to be like, look at this poor soul who doesn't have an iPhone.
Well, but that's how you're reading it, I would say.
That's how
maybe
Apple
not. I'm sure they wouldn't say the same thing.
That's what Apple wanted you to think.
But I agree.
They want
I agree.
That's what they want.
Yep, I agree.
And so to me, I think it's unfair. I think it's stupid. I think by default, everything should be blue. Like, I don't know why they're making such a big deal out of it. And to me, like this, I would not go through this workaround. If I am a Android user, I would be a proud Android user. Like I would not have to like take a knee for like an iPhone user. Like they could go screw themselves. You know what I mean?
I agree. Like my point, I'm with you, Paul. Like who wants this service?
Yeah.
Does anybody here want this service even?
No.
If I wanted a blue bubble, I would buy an iPhone.
Right. Well, there's that.
I wouldn't buy a Nothing phone to get the blue bubble. That's for sure. That's why I don't understand this product at all. Like I would just get an iPhone.
What a funny name, Nothing phone.
Yeah.
That's their brand.
Kind of phone you got? Nothing.
Here's a fun fact. Another service does this called Beeper. Yep. And I actually have a Beeper account.
Okay.
So what I like about Beeper is it aggregates like all of my messaging platforms. So I have Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger, my text messages like in my phone. It has Slack and Discord and WhatsApp and everything, right? So all of it is in this one app. It does also do iMessage. So I have an iCloud account because I have a stupid iPhone here that I use to like test stuff out, and every time I have to turn it on, it like makes me want to throw up. But I'm logged in also to iCloud, for like iMessages. So if somebody sends it to like my other phone number, it'll come through as like an iMessage. And so I have green or whatever is the good color. What is the good color?
Well, who cares?
Yeah.
The blue bubble.
So I do blue bubbles like through my Android phone now through Beeper. But it's definitely not something like that I super care about. I really cared about just the integration of all the messaging platforms, because you don't want to like go here and then go here and go here and go here. Like I just want it all in one nice, easy to use place. So that's the main draw for me. However, being a parent and talking to parents for the most part, this article nails it right on the head, particularly among teens. The whole green bubble thing is a huge sticking point for our teens. So if you can get your teen an Android phone that is way more safe for your kids to use than an iPhone, but still allow them to have the blue bubbles, this is a huge win for parents.
I think parents should say, we ain't getting it.
Yeah. Well, there's that.
You're a green bubble. We're a green bubble family.
We're a green bubble family.
My kids are green bubbles. They could care less about the
But they
blue.
are definitely in the minority. I agree. It's almost like 87% of US teens have iPhones.
Yeah.
That's massive. That means there's only 13% of people that don't. Like that's big numbers.
I think it could be a really, I understand that there's social pressure and I don't get it, because I was telling Kevin before we came in here, I was actually in a meeting with about 25 adults and we were planning a Christmas party to get together, and they're going to make a group chat I was the only person in there, except my wife, that had an Android device, and they all rolled their eyes and went like crazy. And I said, "Well, I guess I'm not coming."
Right?
I'm not getting an iPhone to get into your noisy group chat. And I think we need to teach kids that, this is it's a peer pressure, and I get it, but we need to like be tougher about like,
yeah,
really, bro? I mean, like, really? Like, you're not going to talk to me because a blue bubble? Really? You're that shallow?
So
we need to tell them how to handle this situation more than anything.
Well, and adults need to step up and not do that eye roll and everything, because the kids are looking at that. They're saying, "Oh, okay, well, my parents are acting the exact same way, so this is the way I can act to kids who have Android devices too." 100% agree. We should find that video of I think it was the Holderness family, and he is like welcoming this new guy into the neighborhood and like he's like, "Oh, hey, like here's the extra key to my house, and here, come and like use this all the time, and it's like, I'll add you to the group chat and everything." And then he's like, "Oh, you're an Android?" And then he like yells at him, and the guy walks away. He's like, "Man, this is like the fifth neighborhood," like, or something. It's hilarious.
So I got snarky throwing my technology around. I'm like, "Well, listen, you don't want to communicate. Why don't we just get a Discord channel?" And like, you could see the blank stares in all the room. Like, none of them had never heard of Discord. I'm like, this is why I can't work with you people. You don't know what technology is. You think iPhone is like the pinnacle of technology.
That's the thing too. It's
Discord channel be way better.
It's a very US problem.
It is.
The rest of the world,
problem.
The rest of the world have adopted WhatsApp. I mean, say what you want about Meta owning it, but the rest of the world, there are no colorful bubbles. Now,
what's up?
I understand, like, from an Apple perspective, there's a few reasons why you would want this, right? I mean, I get it. I understand it. Like, you want to see somebody else who doesn't have an iPhone, therefore they won't have the same feature set that it can handle, whatever. We have our proprietary thing. Google has their thing. Like, I get it. You want to see who's on a different ecosystem so that you can't, like, oh, I know I can't send this person this type of message because they're on this other protocol and they won't work. So I understand it from that point. I also understand it from a marketing and sales point too, because that, like, why, like, you have a differentiator. Like, you could fix it. You could fix it, but
you can fix it so
you could
easily.
fix it, but you're
to.
answering to shareholders. You want to sell a bunch of iPhones. I get it. Like, it's a marketing thing. You want to sell more. I have a cool feature. Why would I give that cool feature away and open it up when, like, you're going to buy my phone, right? So I understand it from that perspective too.
Yeah, they want little Johnny to come home and say, "Mom, Sally won't talk to me because I have a green bubble." Yeah. Well, let me get you a blue bubble, son.
Of course they do. And guess what? That works.
And it's like, once you get the blue bubble, it's like, "Johnny, you're better than everybody with the green bubble." You're better than that. You have standards. You have standards. You're a human being. You're not an animal. And to me, that's crazy. And I think this is where Apple is genius with marketing, is that they made it like a status symbol.
They did.
They have.
It's insane. Yeah. And to me, it's so wild.
It's a byproduct of like a technology thing that they found, like, hold on a second, there's a social thing to this too.
Yeah.
Let's just play on the social thing because we'll sell more phones. I get it.
Apple's right. SMS but I get and MMS suck. I mean, they do suck. And that's why they invented iMessage, so they could have a bigger, broader message bandwidth. And then on top of that, they added all these features that are in iMessage that are kind of cool.
That are now proprietary.
RCS doesn't have that. And now everyone's saying, well, why don't they adopt RCS? Well, they want the Google RCS. It's what everyone wants them to adopt. And they're like, why do I got to get the Google standard, And I think that's the fight. It's never going to be fixed. This is going to be blue and green forever.
No,
never going to be it.
It might get fixed if the EU forces their hand.
Well, unless politicians get involved.
That's the only way it gets fixed. Like, because, and they're already trying. I mean, Google's already trying to get EU to classify it as a whatever
standard.
Like a core app or whatever they're calling weird things. But like, that's the only way I see it getting fixed. And I also see them doing like a big FU and just changing it for the EU and not changing it in the US.
Oh, I agree. I could see that happening too. Yep.
What if they just change the color?
It's pink now.
yeah. Oh, you're not saying make them all blue. You're just saying it's not green anymore.
Or just make them all blue. Is that all you care about, EU? That the color? I mean, is that all you care about?
Android should make their text messages blue, like on their phones. And wait, it's blue on our phones too. Why is it green on your phone? What are you, Apple, stupid? Like on our phones, it's blue. I think, but yeah, it's crazy.
To your point, Kevin, I don't know if you read a lot of the documents coming out of the Epic Games lawsuit, but Apple literally, like in emails, say that there is no reason for them to like make either iMessage for an Android device because it locks them into our system. Like,
they know they sell more phones because of it.
Right.
I mean, right. And as a shareholder, please do more. Like,
right,
I don't I mean, seriously, keep pushing the share price up. Keep selling the phones. Like, I get it. I don't have to like it, but I get it.
You're a parent, Sarah. Do you think we should train our kids to not, when you have these kind of obscure peer pressure things, and teach them to say, it's not that big of a deal, honey? We're not getting iPhones.
100%. Like I said, my kids both have Android devices. And there's no way in heck I'm getting them an iPhone. Even if they came to me and oh my gosh, nobody will talk to me. Yeah, well then they're pretty lame friends if they're not going to talk to you because of your green bubble. So I absolutely would instill that into my children. And especially, like I said, because Android is the safer option for the kids, then it's a no-brainer for me. And it drives me crazy that parents are just handing out these iPhones like candy and not really understanding the implications.
So Kevin, Kevin, you guys, so apparently in iMessage, you can play games in chat. Is that something you can do?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's extra things you can do that have to be iMessage to iMessage.
Okay.
Yeah,
what kind of game? What kind of cool game?
I don't know. I've never played them.
Okay.
We talked about earlier. I opt out of group chats all the time. I am not.
I do too.
I don't care if it's all blue or not. I'm nah, I'm out. I just leave them, or I let them. I turn notifications off for them.
Yeah.
And you can still have those games and still have that the proprietary, wow, I could not say that word, the proprietary features, and incorporate RCS and make it a better experience for both Android and iPhone users. You can have it both ways, Apple.
But why would Apple want to make it better for an Android user? They're just not going to. They're just not going to. That's helping the competition.
Do you think Google would pay to license iMessage? Probably not.
Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. I just don't.
I don't even think Apple would allow them. They don't license anything anyway.
Android. There's an iTunes app on Android. I mean, I can see it.
There's the iTunes app on my Mac, and I can't get rid of it because it'll break my Mac. That's the worst app ever. This is what I hate about Apple. They just make decisions. Here's the decision. Nobody cares for iTunes anymore. It's still on my Mac, and there's no way to uninstall it. It will break your computer. Also, on my iPad, I want to have a calculator app. Nope. There's no default calculator app. You have to get a third party.
The missing calculator from the iPad is the weirdest miss.
And that's what I'm telling you. That's what Apple is. It's a bunch of little
strange.
Well, and there's the whole thing too with Tim Cook. And there was a customer, it was at some press conference, and somebody in the audience was I have an iPhone. So, because he's saying this is not something our customers are asking for, right? This is a customer, an iPhone customer in the audience says, hey, when I'm trying to send videos or pictures to my mom, it's really grainy and whatever. What can I do?
Yeah.
Yep.
And he literally says, buy your mom an iPhone.
Yes.
I mean, that's...
iMessage supports bigger images, and MMS doesn't.
Right.
Yeah. That's what he's saying.
I mean, to be honest, I bought my mom a used iPhone because I'm cheap, but and I love her, but there's no reason to have the top of the line iPhone, whatever. Yeah. Just because it's easier to use for her,
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's a bad experience for Apple customers too. So why wouldn't you want to improve that experience for your customers? as they interact with people on different platforms.
I think we can all agree Nothing 2 is not fixing this at all.
There is they definitely have this, like, and I am part of the Apple club, but it's like, but they do have this, like, if you buy Apple, you're part of their group of elitists that just are above everybody. Even though I don't want to be like that, that's how they make their marketing. They force it on top of you, and so you're kind of like, oh, okay, I guess. Like I went to a coffee shop, right? Here, I'll quickly say it, and somebody literally said, "Must be nice to have a MacBook." I'm like, Jesus Christ! I was like, wow, like relax, like See,
that annoys me though too. Somebody like that who's the opposite is like, must be nice to have that. Like, no, sure. I mean, am I going to buy the best laptop on the market, sir? Yes, I am. Thanks for asking.
Like, I love it.
Here's the crazy thing is, it's like I always buy like their entry level, like $12.99 or whatever. They're like, it's like everything's like, and I'm like, that's a reasonable price. Like, it's not like I'm buying like whatever, because if whatever.
Yeah, my ThinkPad was way more than that.
Yeah, I don't want to tell you what mine was.
I think that whole form of like jealousy and want and all that kind of stuff is bad in American society, where we're judging people based on their bubbles and like what phone they have. And like, when in a real world comparative to everything else in the world, every American walking around is like so ridiculously wealthy compared to everyone else. It's
exactly.
You have a smartphone. It doesn't matter what brand it is.
Yeah.
It's like
ultimate first world problems.
Yeah, and I have like I said before, my S23 is just as expensive as an iPhone 15, and it seems like they have really educated a lot of users where they feel like iPhone or nothing, and it's like, this is the pinnacle of technology. I made a joke about it, but they do think that way. Hence, when they didn't know what Discord was, it's like, how can you not know what that is?
Because that is marketing too. If you can convince an average person to buy your device for whatever you need to tell them, you're going to tell them. Like that's what they're good at. They are very, very good at that. But we need to get you guys a T-shirt. It's going to be Green Bubble Gang. I think
Green
that's a
Bubble Gang.
Like,
we need to make
Gang
that T-shirt for the store.
Something like that.
My friend has a T-shirt that says, "I am the Green Bubble."
There you go. Yeah, I love that. Like Green Bubble and Proud or something. Like I like that. It's good.
Green Bubble and Proud.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's good. I should make that shirt. That's a good shirt. Maybe that'll be our first Not No shirt.
I love
it. In the store.
It'll be hilarious if you get that one and I get the blue one, and it's just awkward being on stream.
Yours is like Blue Bubble Elite on yours.
Yeah, Blue Bubble Elites.
That's it, Paul. We can wear the Blue Bubble Elites,
like
and Bobby and Sarah can have the green.
So if you want to make a subtle dig, you make the Blue Bubble shirt 100% cotton, and the green shirt is like polyester.
Imagine that, like, this trend continues and the world shifts and power shifts and all this stuff happens. It's just like Hunger Games, but it's around like the blue bubble people and the green bubble people, and like the green bubble people just want to survive, and the blue bubble people just a bunch of leaders, and they're just like control. And it's just the end of like complete
green will win.
Yeah, exactly. That would be a movie right there.
That's amazing.
The Bubble Games.
The Bubble Games.
To your point, Bobby, one of my most popular videos on my channel is "What is Discord?"
Oh, yes. Yeah, we need to educate people my age and older. Like, come on, bro.
It is the time of the show where we need to talk about our recommendations, our null, not null section. Does anybody have a null this week? Sarah does. You're up first then. Nulls go first.
Okay, so holiday season is upon us. And this was actually just something I was testing out. My kids are older now, but this is like one of the most popular speakers out there, and it was like the worst speaker ever. So, this is like, it's called the Tonys, like they're the Tony box, right? And like you buy these little like toys, and like when you put it on, it'll play like that toy or whatever. Like it'll play the songs from like The Lion King, right? So,
okay, I like the idea.
Right. Yeah. And then like, like volume is like these things, and like, and it's like really soft, like, and squishy. So like people could like, the kids can like tote it around. But like, here's the thing. It's like kind of magnetic, but
but not really.
It's not like, working in the bathtub. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Yeah. Not working in the bathtub. So like, and then the songs were like slightly off brand. I'm like, is that the legit song or is that not? I'm like, if you're going to license it, like license it. Don't like, anyway. So this, like, it's super popular. And I think this is like one of the worst things that you can buy. So don't buy the Tony box.
Does it have Frozen music though? Because we want to know.
It does. Yeah. Okay. Like there's little
how much
Frozen
is the Tony
toys.
box?
I think it's around like 200.
Wow.
Maybe
Not cheap either.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then like the individual like toys cost money too. And they're like 15 to like $20 a piece, So
do you have to have the toy to unlock the music then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, go ahead.
Yeah. No. I was going to say they're even more elitist than Apple.
Right.
So, like,
they are.
You don't get to hear the music until you get the proper piece here.
Get it.
What the hell's the speaker
And then the
for?
magnet doesn't work in the bathtub, and it's just a whole disaster.
Well, I just don't.
From a technology
you can't really
perspective.
take it around. Like this is like supposed to be like really portable, but if like the kids like doing this, like it's going to continue to stop playing because the.
It only plays when it's
while the
attached.
thing is there, and if they break
that's
it,
a miss.
So this was my technology question. From a technology perspective, is the music on the toy then somehow? How does it actually?
So.
Do you know how it
Yeah,
works?
I think so. I think it downloads to the. I think so.
That would be crazy, right?
That is
Okay,
wild.
that's interesting. Yeah.
So that's the null. But like the not null is this one. This is a Yoto player, and this is way better. So it has a lot more like audio books. Like so, this one has like bedtime stories. And it fits in there. Like, look, okay, see, it's like, and then it's got this like screen and stuff. Like, but it's not like a screen. It's like it'll have like an elephant if it's like playing Dumbo or whatever.
Okay.
But there's a lot of books and you can also download like podcasts to a card, and you can create your own cards and.
So have you made the not null card yet? I mean, that's
obviously,
right?
Yeah. Like anytime you put it in, it just plays all of the Not Null podcast episodes.
That'll be good.
Yeah,
nice.
I like
So
it.
that's the Yoto. So this would be the not null. This is the null.
Awesome.
For
Send me the
parents.
links. We'll put the links in the show notes and description for those interested. Very cool. Who wants to go next?
I'm gonna say my null, and you called it, is my experience trying to get Best Buy fix my headphones that have warranty with the Geek Squad, and I just basically gave up. But that's no point.
I'm
You want to tell us how
shocked.
this conversation went? Like,
they just don't care. They just don't care. They're like, oh, it's been too long, or whatever. It's like, what's interesting, they wanted like maybe it's the person I went to, like they wanted like a physical receipt, but I bought it online, and I thought it was just like on the phone, and like they're just so annoying. They try to come up with all these different use cases. They're like, you're facing west, and it's 2 p.m. right now. And there's a bird spitting. If the bird wasn't like choking while facing to the right, like we can't take this. And I was just like, you know what?
Yeah,
a bunch of jerks. And so
my horror story of Best Buy was like, I bought way back in the day a router, and I bought it and it didn't work, and I brought it back within 4 hours, and he says you can't return it. And I'm like, what do you mean I can't return it? It doesn't work at all. He goes, this was on consignment. I said, you have stuff in consignment in Best Buy? And he goes, yes, the end cap was the consignment deal, and you have to return it to the manufacturer. I'm like, but I bought it in the store. I talked to you when I bought it. I don't understand. Like
4 hours ago, remember me?
Yeah. This is the largest retailer in the world, and you're saying you put stuff on consignment? I was just weird. It was weirded out, the whole thing, and I ended up just eating it,
Yep.
Best Buy.
It's Best Buy. And maybe that's why they're going out of business. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Do you have a not null, Paul, or you just got a null this week?
I just so upset with that. I just
You couldn't get past it.
Yeah, we can't get past. I mean, yeah,
There's no joy in Paul's life.
yeah, exactly. I was just like, oh. No, because it sucks not being able to listen to music in the bathtub. You know what I mean? It's just like very frustrating. I need to find some good. I mean, I could take my speaker that I have. It's really nice, and blast music. But sometimes it's nice to have noise canceling, so you can't.
I've got one for you, Paul.
Yep.
There you go. Thank you.
You can have that one.
I'll take that one. Probably get electrocuted,
Okay, Bobby, what you got?
My not null for the week was something I did Monday. I had a live coding session. I was talking about Kevin earlier, and I was just amazed. I have a Mac Studio in here, and I don't think I would have done this on a Windows PC or even attempted it. But I had my Remarkable 2 streaming. I had a streaming PowerPoint. I had OBS running. I was also logged into our vMix account, plus my Elgato camera, which is I use Elgato camera as color correction, and running it from a Windows Parallels on a Mac OS. We were on live for 7 hours that day, 5.5 coding and a live show.
Yeah. Wow. Impressive.
And it was flawless. The only thing that went wrong with the entire presentation is I forgot that an ID needs to be pushed with a hashtag live. So.
That was just to be clear, that was not computer error. That
was mine.
It was like human error.
Yeah. And then I had my Kevin had put music on the live while I was coding, and I muted it because I didn't like it at first. And so I made a mistake. I'm like, what's going on here? These guys get on the live show. They're trying to talk to me, and I can't hear them because I've muted it in my ear. And then I happened to look over at my iPad, which was also connected to this device at the same time, running the live show too. And I'm like, oh, they're talking to me. Like, oh, unmute. Okay.
So
what is it?
I was like yelling down the thing, be like, Bobby, like, we know how to fix it. And he's like, I don't know how to fix this. I don't know what's going on here. Like,
but all of that running from one studio, Mac Studio, it was flawless. So I have to say, really in general, I don't have an iPhone, but I have everything else as Apple pretty much.
I'm proud of you for holding out, Bobby.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, mine this week, I am going with a VR app. A new game just came out that I'm going to play. I say an app, a game called Pavlov's Shack. It's just come out in the Oculus store. And it's come out of, what do they call it? They have the beta. They have a beta version. What is it called? It's not SideQuest. It's something else. They have like a
it is.
The Oculus Store has a pre but the Oculus Store has like a beta store, and this has been in there for a while. It's been free for a while, but now it's like graduated to the main stage and came out yesterday. I haven't really had much of a chance to play it yet. I played the beta version a little bit. It's super cool. It's like the closest you can get to being like a Call of Duty in VR.
Okay, so it's a first-person shooter
right now.
Yeah, it's a first-person shooter. Yep, first-person shooter. It's like tons of stuff in it. 5v5. It's just fun. It's just
that is awesome.
Fun game. Okay reviews, I guess so far. Some people hate it. I don't know why, but that's always the same with this stuff. But yeah, it runs on Quest 2, Quest 3. It's standalone too, so you don't need to be connected to the PC. $20, good deal.
Yeah, cool. FPS and VR is kind of cool. Yeah,
it is. It is definitely. Instead of shooting real guns, you can shoot these fake ones.
You ever try to duck under and hit your head against the desk? You're like, no, never happened. It's just me. Like I'm always trying to be very active. I gotta make sure I have room.
Just as long as you're not doing it in the bathtub, Paul.
Yeah, no. You know what? Cannot confirm or deny playing FPS in my bathtub, and then partway through I'm like, I wonder if they could hear the water, maybe like little bubbles. Anyway, it's totally different. Yeah, this is good. This is stuff. I'm gonna get it. Funny. I'm gonna get it.
I've definitely hit my controllers into the wall before. I have a fairly decent space to do it, but I've also we'll move around it. And I've definitely hit my controllers into the wall, which if you remember on the Quest 2, they had the rounded controllers with the handles over them. So I would hit those a few times. I thought I smashed one once. I hit it quite hard, but I didn't, thankfully. But the new ones don't have those rings on them anymore.
So you smash your hands instead.
Yeah. You would smash your hand instead. Correct.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's we'll teach them a lesson. You're not going to be swinging so hard.
VR's immersive. When you're in it, you're in it.
It is so crazy. They have Skyrim in VR. It's a PC VR, and it's just you could mod Skyrim till your heart's desire, and it's just so to me, it just blows my mind. You're in this world in VR. And so I try to make it immersive. So I'm when I run, I try to run in place. I'm like, oh, this is great. It's so dumb. But it's so funny. It's it's so cool. watch the sunset, just lay down on the carpet, on the floor.
360 treadmills. That's what you need. Like
I do.
One of those 360 treadmills are cool. Yeah, it's funny because I was playing a game the other day, and in the game, one of the people I was playing with, so I was playing online with a bunch of people. One of the people I was playing with was like their character was laying on the floor, and I had to point out, like, to everybody else that was there, I was like, you do realize this kid right now is laying on the floor in his living room wearing his VR headset. You're walking past this guy, you can be like, what on earth are you doing? Yeah. Like, to get some tactical advantage in a game, he's laying down on the floor. I was like, you forget how immersive it really is.
Listen, I'm waiting for someone to do tuck and roll.
Tuck and roll.
Quickly roll. Tuck and roll.
I think we need glasses, not headsets, before we get to that point.
Yeah. Paul, what happened to your headset? Nothing.
He tucked and rolled in the bathtub.
Okay, well, that's it for this week's episode of the Not Null Podcast. If you want to send us an email, you can. Where can they send that email to, Sarah?
The Not Null Podcast at AOL.com.
That is correct. You can drop us an email and we will read it on the show. I guarantee it. Promise. We don't have any this week.
Pinky swear.
So
still waiting, Greg.
Greg has left us.
Greg's done. Greg is done. He's going to come back at one point and like catch up on these shows and be like, man, these guys talk about me all the time. This is weird.
I was like a bunch of weirdos.
He's going to be like, Sarah, can you have a word? This is getting too strange now.
I know. I keep meaning to message him like, have you been listening to us talk about you every week?
Oh, he's going to say no.
It's like, no, I swear I've watched the episodes every time.
Like, really?
Interesting, huh? Okay. What are we talking about?
Super weird.
In particular, I'll give you a clue. You know very well.
It was you.
It was you. No, so.
Great. Well, we'll be back again next week, and we'll catch everybody then.